Get full episodes of The Damage Report as a podcast on iTunes and Android, and you can watch the live show every weekday on YouTube TV. So I want to address a couple of points. So can we just bring up a lower third down here? I just want to make something very clear to the audience because I know there's some concern. If you see we have the countdown 726 days, we're kidding. We're not actually gonna do it for 726 days.
We're just kidding, it's actually 725 days.
Exactly, we're off. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to because I want people to keep their eyes on the prize and everything, but we're not actually gonna do it for 726 days. But we do like to keep you focused on something there. It's very hard to do this.
Yeah.
So we will continue to promote different like groups and things like that in that little bar there. That said, let's turn to the news, or what's not in the news actually. So what the media seems to be missing is that goddamn caravan, they have developed some sort of cloaking technology. That's the only reason I can think of why suddenly they're not in the news anymore. They've literally vanished from view. Perhaps they have one of those cloaks from the Harry Potter verse.
I think the problem is that they're a few hundred miles away, and maybe it's not a big deal.
It's weird. It's almost as if it was never actually a big deal. But Donald Trump doesn't care. I saw a big headline, Fox and Friends has like moved on. They don't care anymore. And remember, they are to blame more than perhaps anyone else on pushing that as a national story. And suddenly it's not a big deal. The Pentagon has announced that Operation Faithful Patriot, which that's just some delicious Orwellian language there, it's being changed, its name's going away. Soon, perhaps the troops will go away. It's weird.
It's really weird how that works, man. And you know what? Especially considering that this whole caravan thing was a plot by Democrats to have all these folks come up right before the election. Again, even when it was this big story, what benefit would the Democrats get from paying George or asking George Soros to give another few $1 billion to a bunch of Central American migrants to come up? Because that would help the election out. You know what the answer would have been? You know what's insinuated in that assumption or that conspiracy theory is that they're coming up to vote. That was like they're trying to get these guys, these criminals up here to vote, maybe kill a couple white folks that they can't vote. What did that have to do with the election? If anything, the conservative approach had to do with the election so they could scare you into voting against Democrats or for them. That was actually the only motivation from either one of these parties to do something like this.
Oh my God, I'm seeing our lower third, Fox News coverage of the caravan has disappeared. Perhaps it was stolen by the caravan, those criminals, dastardly criminals. Yeah, that's probably not actually what was going on. I mean, look, there was a narrative that could have played out about the new threat that is going on in this country, and it has to do with pipe bombs in the mail, I would say, rather than a caravan of migrants. I will say this. There's some socialist like online magazines that I read articles in, and I read one, and it was why we shouldn't just welcome undocumented immigrants in, but we should allow them to vote. Which obviously Chris Kobach's head just exploded and took out half of the state with him. But I was reading it, and I have to say the arguments that were made were pretty good actually. It might be a bridge too far for America, but
give me one of them. Do you remember any of them?
It was talking about all of the ways, and we talk about this from time to time, all of the ways that completely undocumented immigrants still contribute in terms of taxes and in all of these other ways, and compared that to all of the reasons that people have any democratic rights at all. And if we have some sort of inherent right to representation, it looks like they earned the vast majority of that. And it's something like, is there a debate in this country right now about giving them the vote? There is not. Maybe there's a made up one that Donald Trump says, but it's not actually going on.
Yeah, nobody's talking about that.
Maybe we should start to talk about it. Let's shift the argument a little bit. We'll see. Anyway, that's just an interesting argument.
Can start to initiate during this season. That's probably one I don't think will happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. We only have a couple minutes left, and so although I did say that 1 million days, that's funny, guys. We're still a long way off, but remember, the election cycle in America is you get 2 weeks off after an election, and then immediately you're in the thick of it again. And in just a couple of weeks, Bernie Sanders' big book, Where We Go From Here, is gonna come out on the 27th. It is likely people are gonna start declaring soon. So as much as we may not want to be involved in that, if you were a prospective Democratic candidate for 2020, we've just had these midterms, what do you do now to prove yourself? If you're one of these randos, if you're Cory Booker, if you're Hickenlooper, or any of these, as much as we might be frustrated with some of them, what can they do that would make you interested?
Again, you got to. It's almost not easy, but it's easier, especially if the Democratic Party doesn't go that progressive. You become the name that gets talked about. Look, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She came out as this crazy wingnut socialist democratic, candidate, right? And they kept talking about her. They kept talking about her because how much they hated her. You want to be the one that pops out and they go, this one is so much more crazier than the rest of the Democratic Party because you're saying things that people actually want to see and hear get done. And no matter what it seems like the negative coverage is, it's good because your name is out there, and it's actually for a good reason, not because you're caught up in some kind of scandal or because, I don't know, you got into a Twitter fight or something. It's actually for a good reason. And you still actually, you get some recognition for the right things.
Yeah, and especially, so obviously you were talking from the point of view of a pundit on Fox News, of crazy, out of control. But like when Sean Hannity was describing her platform, okay, that scares some of the Fox viewers, but the vast majority of regular, reasonable people see that and think, that actually sounds pretty good. I would love to have a number of different people out there fighting over each other to push that case for the next 2 years. Hopefully we'll see that. Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.